Welcome to Recovering Out Loud podcast. The opinions expressed here are those of the individuals and not of any organization. And we're live.
What's up, gang?
Doesn't this look like I feel like we're on David Letterman or something.
Bro, I feel like
the background here.
I feel like we just won up Theo Vaughn, all those guys.
Yeah,
I feel like we're about to go #1 trending on YouTube right now, bro.
Yeah, I mean, this background is sick.
Yeah,
and
bro.
Apologies to everybody if you hear yelling and screaming and honking and drunk people. That's because the Leafs just won. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. The Leafs just had their last regular season game.
Yeah, it's chaos downtown as per usual.
I just got off the subway. I took the subway from Upper City to right downtown, and it's crazy to me, bro. Every time I come down here, still I get like a buzz. Every time I get off that subway, bro, and see all the people. And this time it was crazy, bro. They had the Leafs game going on the big screen. You know, thousands of people.
Yeah, there's definitely an energy down here, and that's what attracts me. You know, as much as I want to move out of here because it's traffic and craziness, man. When the playoffs come around and the Raptors, Leafs, Jays, like, there's so much fun and community and unity down here. Yeah, everyone, there's not a lot of fighting and there's a lot of joy and celebration, and I think the city definitely needs that.
But do you ever see fights out there? Because there's so many people.
Yeah, but not like in the playoffs, and there's fights when other teams come to town and whatnot.
Well, what about when the Leafs play the Habs? Like, you don't see no one yelling at each other down there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't partake in that activity anymore. But, I'm sure, there was times when I would definitely haven't been there. It's funny, though, when you stop, hanging out with that crowd, you don't really notice the bad shit, right? Because you're not in the middle of it or getting into it with people,
I don't do bad shit anymore, but when someone's fighting, I don't know, it catches my attention right away.
Yeah, there's something about a fight that, and remember in high school when there was always a fight after school and people would fight, and it's all people talked about all day, and it was that was a big deal back then,
To be honest, I was usually the guy in the fight.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. How's everything with you, bro? You moved away, man.
I know.
You don't live with me no more, man.
I'm out the sober house. Yeah.
Bro, it sucks. I wasn't even... So, to be honest, I started working a month ago, right? And I didn't see Anthony as much as I was seeing him before. But, I'd still see him at the end of every night, right? Even if I get home from work, say 7, Anthony'd be out doing something. And then he'd get back at, say 9, and I'd be in my room chilling. Even just that 20 minutes at the end of the day. Just chilling with you, talking with you.
Yeah, I miss that too, man.
Yeah, bro. It's that cheesy saying, you don't know what you miss until it's gone,
yeah,
bro.
You don't know what you got till it's gone.
I miss your dumb ass, bro. I miss you, man. But no, it's cool.
We had a good thing going there, I know. And I knew it was going to be short-lived, but it was definitely, I think we took advantage of it.
100%, bro, 100%.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. What do you do now for fun?
What do I do for fun?
Does anyone hang out in the house anymore?
Nah, not... I mean, I be hanging out with Jack. My shout out, Jack. I've been watching lots of sports with him. But to be honest, man, my life has been, way too invested into work. And, it's a shitty feeling, man, because I feel like I have no choice. In a way, because
you need money.
I need money. I need to pay my bills. And I'm not making great money, so I gotta work a lot to be able to pay my stuff, right? To be honest, it's making me miserable in a way. Today, I thought I was going in for a few hours, and I get home till 7 o'clock.
Saturday, yeah.
Saturday, right? And it messes up my plans. Other plans I have with other people to do things, and it puts you in a tough position because it's I wanted, you have set boundaries, right? And I want to do what I say I'm going to do, but I feel work has to come first. I don't know where to decipher in my life, where does it actually not come first, right? Because I'm going to work 5 days a week. I work my scheduled shifts, but when he asks me to work a Saturday, it's I know I have the right to say no.
Yeah, why can't you say no?
But something inside of me makes me feel like I'm not a hard worker or I'm a bad employee. I don't know what it is, man, but maybe it's my pride.
That probably goes back to the way you were raised, though, too. Is because I can relate to that. You know?
But
if you don't show up to work, your self-worth is not where it needs to be.
Especially when the next guy is going to go and I'm not going to go, right?
Yeah.
And then you show up to the job back on Monday, and some stuff got done on Saturday and you weren't there for it. I don't know, it's definitely something inside of me. It has nothing to do with anyone else. Something inside of me, but I definitely need to work on that because this we're doing a lot of work on this guy's doing a lot of work on the sidelines right now for our podcast and our social media accounts, and like I won't lie to you, like it bothers me that I can't do more. You know, like I'm showing up for the podcast and whatnot, but like there's a lot of stuff on the sidelines that nobody sees, and I can just imagine for like people who are bigger than us, like, you know, that's why they have like, you know, managers and stuff, right? Because it's a lot, man. You know, trying to connect with people, trying to set things up, trying to new venues like this, like it's a lot of work, man. And like, you know, it's just I want to, I don't know. I'm just trying not to let it eat me alive, because like I've been thinking about work way too much. Way too much.
Would you say you're a people pleaser?
I would say I'm a people pleaser, bro.
Because I have that problem too, right?
And like
I have a hard time saying no, you know, as well.
Yeah. But anyways, bro, how's things been for you? You're back downtown, you know, and like I know like this was the, you know, before you went back out there and got yourself into some trouble. This is where you were at, you know.
Yeah.
This is where you were at, right in, you know, the zoo, I call it, bro. But like, how does it feel to be back here, man? Back with your wife.
The good thing is I didn't. I did a lot of my using at an after hours club, and you know, in random people's condos that I don't miss at all.
Condos down here?
Yeah, and
like you did all your partying was downtown.
Yeah. I mean, because you can walk everywhere. I didn't have to drive, which was good because I was fucked up all the time. So I was riding my bike everywhere. You know, it was it's. There's like the triggers are there, but they're not. It's not like I walk like into a bar and I'm like, oh man, I used to go here all the time. Like, I went to a lot of bars, but I did the majority of my dark memories are from a lot of the expensive hotels around here. Unfortunately, I wish I just went to the fucking, you know, Holiday Inn, but I had to ball out because I thought it was cool. And
like, how much were you spending a night on hotel?
Oh man. It was over Christmas, so they were discounted, but it was minimum like $600 a night. And
$600 a night, bro. Where were you staying?
Well, that's actually cheap. This hotel under us right now is like $900 a night, normal times. During Taylor Swift, it was like $1,500 a night. Yeah, it's crazy down here.
What do the hotel rooms be looking like, bro?
They're like the size of your room, probably. But they're decorated really nice, so that's cool. You know, I went to this one hotel. There's one hotel over here.
You just blew my mind, bro.
There's one hotel over here, the Bisha, it's called. I think it's overrated, but you walk in there, you fucking can't see anything. It's so dark, and it's like very artsy. There's like thousands of paintings all over the place.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the appeal that people like, is like it's very artsy and like mysterious, and also, side note, you know, kind of a darker thing, but somebody jumped off that building a couple of years ago, and I actually saw the videos. It's fucked. They had a security camera footage video of the guy hitting the ground. It was crazy. One of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. One of my buddies, Chris, he loves that shit. He shows me videos like that all the time of like people doing stupid shit and like dying and stuff. It's horrible.
Bro, I know what you mean.
I was walking by there one day, and the stain was still on the ground.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy. That was like last summer, and you know, the sadomasochist that I am, I like went to go and see, because I like had to see. I was like, oh, this, and I stood in the spot. I was like, oh, this is where this guy jumped off. I was like, oh, I'm weird like that. I don't know. It was crazy, but you know, suicide is a real thing, and that guy was probably suffering a lot. Like, you know, a lot of you know, I don't. We don't need to get into that too much, but I don't think it's you know, it's not. I don't know. I don't think it's appropriate to like laugh at it, but it did happen. And so at that hotel, I remember there was a night when I was with my dealer, and we had a room, and he just invited all these random people like in the bar downstairs at the place, and the people pleaser that I am, I was like, oh, that's great, this is gonna be so much fun, like, yeah, everyone's invited.
And the hotel was under your name?
Yeah, it was all under my name. These random people were in my room, and we were all doing blow off the fucking counter.
What kind of people, like, what kind of caliber people we talking
here?
They
weren't after hours club people that I was normally hanging out with. I'll put it that way. But my money was stolen. Like, all my money was stolen, and I didn't put two and two together that I thought I lost it. I didn't put two and two together that it was definitely the people in my room.
They stole cash from you.
Yeah. I mean, I was, and this is why I didn't get mad, because it's fully my fault. We were snorting the coke with my $100 bill.
Bro.
I mean, just like those are the things I used to do. It's just, I laugh about it now, but it's, you know, I needed that money at the time.
Yeah, for sure.
I need it right now too. You know, it's funny that I was thinking about this today. I saw my therapist the other day, and I was telling her about how if I didn't run out of money this time around, this last relapse, if I didn't run out of money, I probably would have still been out using.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I ran out of money, and I hit a point where I actually gave all my drugs to my wife, and I said, I'm done. Like, this is it. I was done, right? Because I ran out of money. I was embarrassed. I was low. I hated myself. I felt like the homeless people that we see here, right? I just wanted somewhere to go and stay. And I actually, that was the day I actually quit. I gave her like at least an 8 ball of Coke, and then she just threw it out. Where I'm going with this is, my therapist said, you heard yourself just say that, right? And I was like, what? She goes, if you still had money, you'd be using. Maybe that's why you can't get a job that's paying you the same that you used to get paid. And I was just like, oh, yeah. Everything does happen for a reason. Like, maybe I'm not supposed to be making a lot of money right now because of that. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, now I understand, right? Yeah. And so that made it a little bit easier to deal with this fucking tens of thousands of dollars that I regret putting up my nose and in my stomach. So yeah, so that, you know, fun introspective thought of the day, the other day. But so you like coming down here. I was laughing about it with my wife. I was like, he's like a kid in a candy store, because I remember how it was when I first started coming down here. And you're not used to this crowd and this craziness. No. What is it? You know, you get that energy. Does it make you want to use or drink at all?
Man.
What are the thoughts going through your head?
Bro, it just like... So, like, I know I mentioned this in lots of videos, but I come from, like, an igloo. I come from, like, a village.
Did you just say an igloo?
An igloo, bro. Like, no, you know, all the same people, right? And, like, for anyone who's watching who's been to Union Station, like, you know what it's like. Like, you get off the subway, and there's more cultures in the first 5 feet of me getting off the train than there is in my entire town.
Looks like a different country sometimes.
You know, different like people's different styles, different like languages, looks. You know, like you just see so much, and for me, it's just like. It's just crazy, bro. I don't even stand there. I just watch. I just look at people, and it's just I don't know, man. Like I literally texted this guy like as soon as I got off, and what did I say? I'm like, bro, I love coming down here. It's like a buzz when you come down here, you know. And like I know I shouldn't be like relating it to drug use, but it's not the same kind of buzz. It's like one of just you're buzzing, man. It's just like holy, I love it, man. I got out of the doors. They got this big blown up screen of the Leafs and Habs game going on. All these people enjoying life, watching it, right? And like. From what I seen, like 90% of the people weren't even drinking, man. I'm sure the people inside the Scotiabank were drinking, but like people outside were just like with their loved ones or with their friends enjoying life. And I'm just like, wow, this is what life is about, you know? And I cannot wait, bro, because today was the last regular season game, and then it's the playoffs, and I'm making a point to come down here for the playoffs.
Yeah, playoffs are fun down here. Like I said, it's a big community, and you know, people just want to win. We're like tired of all the negative shit in the world. We just want to celebrate together. And yeah, it's funny. I love people watching too, but you know, if you stand out there long enough and look, you'll see a lot of families too, right? Our brains go to like that guy's high, that guy's high.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's like, oh, you could do that, and it's like, oh no, you can't. You know, I can't just have one. That doesn't work like that. You've tried many times. Stop it.
But no, it's beautiful down here, bro. I remember even like about a month ago, you took me down here for a run. Mm-hmm. Went and jogged on the waterfront, bro, and I remember just like you said, that's literally exactly how I feel, like a kid in a candy shop. Yeah. Like I just love it, man. It's just, bro, I try and come down here as much as I can. It's quite a bit of it's like a 40-minute subway ride for me to get down here. Not that 40 minutes.
What was the craziest thing you've seen on the subway?
Yeah, change the subject there. That's a good question, bro. I've seen some crazy stuff on the subway, but I'll tell you this. This happened before you moved into Jay's house. I was coming home from the mall or something one day. No. I was coming home from a meeting. It was like 10 o'clock at night, okay? And I had like a long subway ride. And this couple sat beside me on the subway. And like we had probably like 12, 13 stops, man. They were beside me for like 40 minutes, okay? And like from what I can remember, because I've talked about this lots and I've replayed this situation lots, I thought they were, okay, when I say normal, I mean like they were sober people, I thought, okay? But I wasn't staring at them. I had headphones in and stuff. But bro, these people sat beside me, this guy and this girl, and just before we get to my subway station, I stand up, I get ready to, like the subway's still moving, right? I stand up, and as soon as I stand up, this guy stands up, okay? And there's a door on this side, and there's a door on this side, right? Like 5 feet on each side of us. And he darts for the opposite side of me. He slips and falls.
Oh my God.
I told you this, remember? He bashed his head off of the corner of the seat, and he starts having a seizure on the ground right in front of me.
You were the only one
No. There was a few people there. But
Jesus Christ.
Bro, it was insane. And I stayed there. So I stayed there, and there was a few of us that stayed there, right? But everyone starts freaking out. And I actually stepped in and I just said, "Yo, guys, just give the guy some space."
What are they doing? Like just crowding
Everyone
him?
like starts crowding him, bro.
What are we doing? CPR?
Yeah, like trying to save his life.
No one
bro.
knows CPR.
And he's bleeding out of his nose.
Oh my God.
Like it was a scene, bro.
Wow.
It was a scene. So then and it's like 10:30, 11 at night, and it's a weekday, so the station was kind of dead. So I ran. I waited like probably 30 seconds with the guys. Like, "Okay, guys, just give him some space. Give him some space." And I ran to the end of the train to see if there was like the conductor on the train. But you know how there's like on one side of the train there's like a driver's seat, and then on the other side of the train there's a driver's seat.
Yeah.
So it's like there's only ever a driver on one side. Well, I ran to the side where he wasn't.
Of course.
Right? There was no one there. So then I ran up the escalator, and there was a security guard there. And I'm like, "Yo, this guy's having a seizure. This guy's having a seizure." And this guy literally, bro, this was so sad to me. Because this stuff happens lots in Toronto. But he said, he gets on his radio and he says, other overdose. Yeah.
That's what he said?
Yes, another overdose on the train.
Just nonchalantly like that.
Man. And he doesn't even know if it was an overdose or not.
Wow.
I don't know if it was an overdose.
You never told me that. Holy.
Yeah, bro. And he's just like another overdose, and he starts walking down the stairs all calm and slow. Yeah, bro.
Wow, I would have smacked him in the back of the head.
So
I wouldn't have, but I would have wanted to.
This guy's just probably paid minimum wage to sit there and make sure people don't, get on the subway for free. But he didn't have any idea how to save the guy.
That's insane.
Dude, I waited there. Listen, this is the craziest part to me. Okay, I waited down there with everyone. There's probably like 10 of us with this kid. And when I say kid, he's probably like my age. He's probably like 23-ish. And I waited there for 45 minutes. Not an ambulance showed up. Not a police officer showed up.
45 minutes.
45 minutes. There wasn't even like a medic for TTC that showed up. And this kid he must have seizured for like 15 minutes before he stopped shaking.
And people were just watching him like
yeah,
go
man.
through
People
that.
were trying to like, support, I guess, but it was crazy,
and
man.
Did a medic eventually show up?
Not when I was there. Yeah.
That's insane.
I had to go home because I had something to do, and that sounds horrible. But I left. There was nothing I could do. I waited there for 45 minutes. People still stayed there, but yeah, man. The craziest part about the whole story was just when the security guard was like, "Yo, another overdose."
Yeah, that's sad, man.
It's very sad, and they see this stuff all the time. You go on the subways. Every time I get on the subway, every single time. I don't know if there's been a time where I've gotten on the subway I haven't seen this. There's at least 3 or 4 homeless people sleeping on the subway.
Yeah. I mean, that's normal. Yeah.
See, that's normal to you, but to me, that's crazy.
Well, I mean, the housing is so expensive here that, and not to get political because I hate politics, but the government's not doing anything about it.
No.
That's crazy, man. I mean, like, I'm sure that's the first complaint about the TTC in the history of Toronto.
Yeah, for sure.
No, a lot of people hate the TTC. It's a running joke. The TTC and Pearson are like just the worst in the world. And if you've ever been to Europe or anywhere else, New York, the subway system is so like unflawed. It's just like, why can't we have this? It's so expensive to live here. Anyways, that's insane.
Yeah, man.
I wonder if that guy's okay.
I tried looking it up online, and you didn't see
There was no story or anything. Yeah,
no,
of course
nothing.
Not.
Nothing. But it was just like
that says a lot about society, though, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, here we go, another idiot addict, like can't stop using drugs.
Yeah.
Fucking, inconveniencing my arm because I have to lift it and tell the fucking walkie-talkie that there's
my boss actually. Me and my boss, we chat about this lots. So he's lived in this area his whole life, and we're talking about whoopsies. We're talking about Hamilton, and we were talking about Oshawa.
The Hammer and the Schwa.
The Hammer and the Schwa, and I'm always asking so many questions because this up here, what happens up here, it really interests me. It sparks an interest in me, and I'm like, I said, I've heard so much about Hamilton and so much about Oshawa. And he's like, yeah, a lot happens in these communities, but you don't hear about it on the news because they don't put that stuff out on the news. Yeah. They don't want you to hear about that because it's making them look bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like that happens everywhere in the world, but like, I feel like it's big in Canada.
Well, plus it happens so often that people just turn a blind eye to it, right? And they don't really... it's sad, right?
What about you, bro? I want to know what the craziest thing you've ever seen on the subway, because you live in the city your whole life.
I only started taking the subway like probably the last 2 years ago, and I don't know. I'm pretty in my own world. I don't make eye contact with people. I make a point to like not make eye contact with people, which is, you know, that's not really good or bad. But I've always noticed that I kind of keep to myself. I don't really, I'm a very observant person, but, I don't know. The other day there was a guy, definitely from Brampton, because he had that Brampton accent, like yo man, you know, he was
Yo,
talking
man.
like that, right? He had his headphones in and he was wearing sunglasses at 10 p.m. First red flag right there, you know, sunglasses at 10 p.m. on the subway, and he was walking around with headphones on, and he was just like rapping, but it wasn't music, you know. He was like yelling at people, and he looked like a normal, like he was normal. I hate that word. He looked like an average young guy, right? Like, you know, well dressed, like.
Yeah.
But he was just walking around, and he was just like rehearsing Drake lyrics, I think, at people. And I had my headphones in, and the noise canceling wasn't doing its job, so I was getting pissed off. And I had a moment where I just kind of stared at him, and he stared back at me because I thought he was following me at one point. Because like I went all the way down to the end, and he was like walking with me. So I stopped and turned around, and we just made eye contact, and he like stopped. And he like stopped rapping or whatever he was doing, and then he just like went on. And then I was sitting on the train, and I could hear him 3 cars down, just like, oh yeah, no. I don't even know what he was doing. Like man, you know, fucking, I don't even know. And but yeah, so I mean, I've seen someone like. You know, I've seen someone play with themselves on the subway. That
Bro,
was
you're
probably
joking.
That was probably the worst thing.
You seen someone play with themselves, like masturbate on the subway?
That was probably the worst thing,
Bro.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, and like there's people around, and
What, did anyone do anything?
No, he was like, no, that was weird,
Bro.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Toronto for you. But I love the city, man. It's a good time. And now summer's coming. I've been going for a run every day on the waterfront.
That's
I
good,
love
man.
it. I want to start a run club. Actually, I've been thinking about that, like a sober run club, because there's lots of them, and you know it's good community. I was at the pool hall tonight on Bloor. There, you ever been to that one?
No.
It was straight from the 80s, dude.
Really?
They had like an old espresso machine. You could tell it was run by Italians in the 80s. And I was with my Italian buddy, and of course he goes there. He's like a regular there. And this guy brings his own cue and everything. He's like fucking, you know, and he has like a little fucking purse for it and everything.
Yo, if a guy shows up with that.
He was so good. Yeah, he murdered me. But I was in the bathroom there, and I was just thinking, I'm looking around, I'm like, oh my God, if bathroom walls could talk, the amount of fucking cocaine that was done in that bathroom.
Bro, that is so funny. I went to a pool hall about a month ago in Newmarket with a bunch of friends, and I'm taking a leak in the urinal, okay? And it's a bar. This place was a bar. And I'm looking at the wall as I'm taking a leak, and I'm just thinking like, whoa, I got nostalgia. I'm like, I've been here before, bro. I called my mother after this, and I called my mom. And I'm like, Mom, I just took a pee in a bar, and I'm sober, but like I just... I'm like, Mom, it was funny.
Were we ever in Newmarket? She's like, what? Where's that?
She was straight up nervous when I went there, but I told my mom,
funny.
like, I just had like nostalgia.
I mean, all those holes in the wall, they all look the same, right?
Yeah.
They all have like the same "call John for a good time" on the wall, you know?
It's hilarious.
Yeah, so
On a more serious note, I wanted to mention this. I mean, I know we're still starting off here, but like, bro, we've been getting some positive feedback, and I feel like we're doing a pretty good job at putting a message out there, because I've been getting lots of good messages, and I actually got a message yesterday during the day, and it was someone that had reached out to me, and where I'm going with all this is that it just goes to show like how much the stuff we talk about isn't talked about enough. But someone out there was struggling with some mental health. Not exactly what we're dealing with, but I mean, mental health is mental health.
Yeah, it's
you know what I mean? And they just said like, hey, like, you know, I think it's great that you're talking about this, and it's actually something I'm going through, and I have a hard time talking about it. I don't know what to do, and I've been watching your guys' podcast, and it's been helping me, and like, it's just helped me because I can relate to what someone else is going through, and I know this person personally, right?
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, so I said, wow, like, you know, I told them to reach out to me later that night, and we spoke a little bit last night, and it just like where I'm going with all this is after we had spoken, I thought that maybe this person had felt a little bit better, right? And I didn't like counsel them. I'm not a counselor, but like what I've come to learn through all this crap, man, is that like sometimes just talking about it with someone, you know what I mean? Like just being like, hey, like this is what's going on, this is what's in my head, bro. Like it actually felt really good.
Yeah.
And where I'm going with this is that if this is how you feel out there and you are going through something, man, reach out.
You're
And
not
we've said this
alone.
before, but reach out.
You're not alone.
Just you're not alone. And they actually asked me what they would suggest to help them, and like I said, what helped me,
Yeah.
I said get professional help. Go try and see a counselor, and that's also easier said than done because counseling costs money. But like, you know,
There's lots of free counseling services as well. You have to get on a wait list and stuff, but there's something called RAM clinics down here, and I think around Ontario. It's rapid addiction medicine, something medicine. But I went there, and I was seen pretty quickly. It was at St. Mike's. They have them everywhere, and they see you. They offer free counseling. They offer support groups, so that's a resource that you can use. You know, a lot of people use money as an excuse, but there's a lot. I always like to think there's a lot more people that are poorer than I am and worse off than I am, and they manage to get through it. You know, how do they get through it? People have been through worse debt than me and gotten through it. You know, I know that for a fact, right? I'm not the only one. I'm not alone here. One step at a time, one paycheck at a time.
Yep.
You know, you chip away at it.
chip away at it, man.
And, you know, I was talking with Tom today, our friend Tom, and, you know, he said something that was so simple, but it was awesome. It was like, I'm going to be okay. You're going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. And, you know, I mentioned you kind of do one of these. You're like, oh, I'm still breathing. You know, I'm upright with a pulse. I'm going to be okay. You know, I don't feel okay right now. You know, feelings are real, but they're not reality, right? It's a story that we tell ourselves, right? You know, I often hear this, but my life is what happened to me and what I think happened to me. There's two stories, right? I think I had a very controlling childhood, and I wasn't allowed to do things, and I wasn't allowed to go out, and I wasn't allowed to go out with my friends. I had to have my homework done. There was consequences if I screwed up. I got grounded a lot. That's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is, hey, man, maybe your mom saved your fucking life.
Literally.
You know?
Literally.
Like, oh, I never thought of it that way, right? You know, maybe it's not a death sentence. Same with this addiction alcohol thing. I've come to realize I never wanted to be an alcoholic. I didn't grow up thinking this is gonna be great. I'm gonna be an addict one day and have to go to meetings and you know it's gonna be awesome. No, you know it sucked to come in here and face your shit and ask for help and all that's fucking shit. It's hard. It's hard every day, right? But it's so much better on the other side. It's so much better, right? There's a payoff that you can't even put into words. Peace of mind.
Peace of mind, bro.
Right? I wake up in the morning and I'm not crippled with fear about the day. Oh my God, I have to do this, I have to do that. I have a lot of things I could easily be anxious about, but it doesn't get me anywhere. It doesn't serve me, right? It does not serve me to worry about my debt. What serves me is moving on, living in today, and because that's all we got, right? Yesterday's gone. Tomorrow hasn't come yet. This moment is all we got. So the more I do that, the happier I am.
Something small quickly that I did today, and I told the boys in the truck on the way home from work because like we had a rough couple of days, man. We've been filling in the side of a house with the foundation of a house. And
you sent me that video.
Yeah, man, with the shovel.
Digging a trench.
Like
trench digging.
Like the worst job. I mean, that's a big statement, but this might be the worst thing I've ever done for work in my entire life.
Drywall's pretty shit too. I've done it.
No, bro. Like I would do bro. I've shoveled like half a ton of dirt with a shovel.
I've done it before. I know.
So me and the boys are sitting in the truck with our boss, right? And we're trying not to like rip our boss's hair out of his head. And we're like, oh my, no one was saying a word. Everyone was just like silent, like hating their lives, right? And we're going down the street and I was hating my life equally as much. I can't say anyone was worse. Not hating my life, I was just like, oh, so done with the day. And I look over to the side and like Oshawa has a very like high homeless rate.
Population.
Like it's very sad what you see on the main street there. And we're going down the street, man, and there's like literally like a herd of 20 people, and it was cold outside, and they were all swarmed up beside each other with sweaters on and like blankets over them, and they were like warming each other up.
Oh my God, that's so sad. Wow.
And I said, boys,
it's kind of beautiful but sad. Yeah.
It's beautiful but sad. But I said, boys, you know, we just had a horrible day shoveling, but I said, like, look at to the left of you, man. Like I said, you think you have it rough, you know? Like, where I'm getting with this
That's
is like
powerful. No, that's powerful.
you know, I was like,
man.
whoa, like this sounds crazy, but like I'm grateful that I got to do that all day and get paid to do that.
Yeah, I'm grateful that I had a jacket.
You know, I'm grateful that I have a jacket, and like when I look at it like in that from that perspective, it's like you're almost, it's so hard for something to defeat you, because like I'm someone who can easily let a crappy day of work defeat me and get me into this crappy mindset where I'm just like F this, F that. But I'm like, no, you know, I looked at it a lot differently after I looked to my left and I seen a bunch of homeless people who didn't eat for probably days, didn't sleep, you know, no money to get high, and that's all they want to do.
The only thing on their mind is survival.
Survival, bro.
When's the last time you know, yeah.
Like, it's just humbling.
Yeah, and that, you know, moves you into gratitude, right? Like, gratitude lists are another helpful tool, you know. Wake up in the morning and just journal out things that you're grateful for, and simple things. Shoes on my feet, legs that work. Yeah. I watched a movie last night called Warfare. It was a great movie, and it was all about, like, the Iraq War. And
Crazy,
this dude's legs get like blown off at one point, and I was so immersed in the movie. That's another good thing about sobriety. I can go to movies and actually watch the movie and be present, and all my problems are kind of waiting out. Like, I'm not thinking about myself, which is a beautiful thing. But there was this, I got so into it that I just like put myself in that guy's shoes, because it was a true story. And then at the end, they showed the guy in the wheelchair, and he, you know, that the rest of his life he has to deal with that because of one bomb that went off, because of a war that he was fighting for his country, right? Like, it's just insane. You're in a second, your life just changes because of one person's actions, right? So it's insane. Like, I'm grateful that I don't have to walk out of my condo and deal with war today. You know, a lot of people don't have that opportunity, you know. And, you know, we get a lot of people in the city, unfortunately, that complain about immigration and stuff like that, and they just want a better life, man. That's it. It's like my grandparents came here in the 1950s for a better life, for work, you know, and, you know, they worked hard to give me a good life today, and I often forget about that because I'm wrapped up in, well, you know, my coffee was cold this morning, so that
it's
bitch
true,
at
bro.
Tim Hortons, right?
It's so true. Like, I got so angry the other day. Not angry, but I don't know. I was angry. I went to Tim Hortons and I got a bagel and a coffee, and I get into the truck and I would take my bagel out of the wrapper, and they're supposed to cut that bagel straight down the middle.
You remind me of Vince.
Yo, and when I got the bagel, I thought about him, man. This didn't even cut it.
You had one job.
Yeah, you know, I wanted to go back in there, and if I had enough time, I would have. But I'm like, yo, you're not gonna let this from your day.
What would you
right?
have said?
I don't even know, bro. I probably would have said some rude
I feel like
shit.
there's no cool way to go about doing that, you know? Like, you sound like a Karen no matter what.
Yeah, yo, it hurts yourself just saying it, but it's like, you know, I want my bagel cut.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, is that so much to ask?
But no, what you say quickly about the immigration thing, I'm not going to get too political at all, but like the point of it is just saying, like, sometimes I'll get in my own head thinking, like, you know, it's BS, and, you know, I don't. Basically, where I'm going with this is you got to put yourself in someone else's shoes, because like I've been blessed my whole life. Like, I wake up, I go outside, and there's not guns and bombs going off. But like, dude, literally, like, you know, a 12-hour flight that way, you get off the plane and there's bombs going off, and, you know, war going on, and, you know, people with no food, no homes. Like, dude, we're so lucky, so lucky. You know, we are so lucky. We're not going outside and there's not, you know, the government trying to kill us right now, or
take your money.
Like, and shout out Johnny C, bro. You know, that guy every single morning, man. He's my boy. He texts me every single morning. I don't think he's missed a morning in 3 months, and he texts me a list of things that guy is grateful for. You know, and it's funny because like every day it's a different list of things. Like, that just goes to show you how much you can be grateful for. You know, and it doesn't always have to be like, oh, my car, or you know, my freaking shoes. It's just like the air, the sun, my feet,
mornings,
my kids,
sleep,
my wife. You know, and just like, and he's going through shit right now, my boy. Like, he's dealing with some things that are pretty hard to deal with right now in his life, and like, he just this gratitude can really help you fight off like that shitty mindset you're in. It's just like, okay, I am going through this and this, but like I also still have this, and I know it's not I have. It's like it's not like you, like I said, you don't have to be grateful for your shoes. Like be grateful for your family. Be grateful for like your legs, bro. Be grateful for the air. Be grateful for your freedom. Yeah. And if you can really look at life like that, like I said, it's hard to be defeated.
Yeah. And your problems start to shrink too, right?
Yeah.
The other important thing about that too is Johnny's not going through that alone. Like we used to, right?
No, exactly.
You don't have to go through that alone. That goes for everybody. Somebody has been where you have been and gotten through it. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, bro.
So I mean, life is good, my friend.
Life is good, bro. And like I said, this is the first time we filmed down here. It's the first time I've been down here in like, not the first time, but it's the first time in a while that I've been down here, bro. And I worked like 13 hours today. I did not want. No, I wanted to do this, but like I just wanted like a whole new day's energy. Yeah. I was tired, but I am so glad I'm
happy you came down too.
You know,
I'm happy you came down too because I know I was, I was ready to go to bed and turn it in, but again, this is a part of my program, and Tom said the same thing today. He's like, I do this shit because it helps me stay sober too. I need to do this stuff. You know, I went to the pool hall with my buddy because it helps me stay sober. Right? This guy, just company, company of like-minded people, like we said before. It's a beautiful thing, right? So next week we're gonna have my sister. We're gonna have more qualified people on, which is great. My sister's gonna come on, tell her perspective. She's a doctor too now, and that's great. We're gonna ask her what it was like living with a degenerate fuck like me. And that camera just went out, so that ends it off perfectly. But I'm going to cut this out.
What camera went off, bro?
We're also yours. That's why I was pointing at it because it was blinking at you. We're gonna have a counselor on as well.
Yeah, and, he's a psychotherapist.
Yeah, the owner of a sober house.
Owner of multiple sober
homes. And he's got some
Toronto.
great stories. He's been sober a long time too.
Guy's been sober for 37 years, bro.
So look out for that. Coming here.
And like honestly, everyone in the comments, say good job to Anthony because Anthony he's the wizard behind all this, bro.
Tell us if we're helping you. Give us feedback, questions, anything you have. I'm always looking for feedback because we want to improve and we want to reach more people and help more people.
For sure, man. Yeah, cool. Thank you guys. You guys help me. You know, all the kind messages I've been getting, like it makes my day. You know, getting messages from old friends and people I know and people I grew up around. And I'm just, I love you guys all.
Love it.
And I love you, bro.
If no one's told you this, I love you too. But if no one's told you today, I love you.
Yeah, bro. No one told you this. I guess I love you too.
Boom.
Thanks for listening. Please help us grow the channel and like, share, and subscribe for more content. The discussions and stories shared on this podcast are for informational and motivational purposes only. This content is not a substitute for professional medical advice, addiction treatment, or therapy. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, please consult a licensed physician, addiction specialist, or mental health professional. You are no longer alone.